The night, Nino.
No, this is where, you know, every term I like to find a bit of a different spot. You know what I mean? And this term, I'm deciding to take the gloves off.
Third time's the charm.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, a lot needs to be done. And I got 3 months to accomplish it. And I think I've been babying a little bit too much. I've been trying to breastfeed, but I can't produce no milk.
There's been a lot of Katie milk talk today.
Yeah.
I'll have to say.
We don't have time for dinner anymore, you baboso. Good news, I'm pregnant again.
Pre-crying is on the rise.
Oh, it'll be fine. The tax credit alone pays for the first 3 months of diapers.
So we brought what Turner was doing at the meeting today.
Yeah, it changes. Are you familiar with them?
Well, Moss kept saying you were replacing her and she could finally
Yeah.
go on vacation or something.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think, so I lit a fire under both of their asses yesterday. I'm sure you probably felt some of that.
When you say both their asses, do you mean Moss and
Her
Peters?
and Peters. Yeah.
Okay.
The baby gloves kind of came off. And that includes Moss. And so, you know, I was rather transparent about some of my concerns. But I think it did a lot of good. As I understand it, a lot of conversations started to happen, and both began to cook, which is what's needed.
Well, I do have a television.
Because so everything starts at the top, right? And that includes me.
We met at the bar last
But no, the whole Turner's not there to be the new chief. He's gonna be well, right now he's in my cabinet. And he's going to be kind of like a consultant.
Okay.
Yeah. I think there's been a lot of gaps. I think some of which we've kind of already talked about over the many weeks. Communication being the biggest one. I think San Andreas has got something in the water, right? There's a lot of talking, not always listening. I mean, I do that sometimes. Some got it worse than others. And then the poor case of telephone where something is said and the other party hears what they want and then they pass on the information and the water turns into sewage.
Yep.
So I think those are like two critical areas alongside what is delegation, things like that. I think, among other areas, I think Turner can do well consulting. And once again, how that looks like is still kind of being worked out. Either it's going to be as like an outside consultant in the mayor's office, or maybe a little bit more. It's going to be up to, it's going to be how Daisy and Pito want it. But he's coming in as a resource to be used as needed.
Okay.
Have I been dooming to you too hard?
Hey, Big Mama.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. That's what was relayed to me.
Big Mama, that's the first place we win.
I'm a big girl, Nino.
Yeah.
I can handle adult conversations.
Yeah. I think, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I brought up some of the concerns that I saw you dealing with. And, I think they saw a side of me they weren't expecting yesterday. So.
How so?
Oh, hey, buddy.
I don't want to go too much into it, right? But I made it very fucking clear. And I know you didn't want me speaking to them too much or whatever, right? But I'm going to be honest, I didn't really give a shit. I mean, I did, but I didn't. There was a point where something needed to be said, and I said it. And I'm being a little vague here, because, you know, this is a me and Chief thing.
What the hell?
Yeah.
But hopefully whatever conversation you two had was productive.
That's seriously not cool.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want people to think that me talking to you is like me going around like high command when we're just literally just talking. And like you're one of the only people that does call me almost every day. And specific to my job, we'll talk about things, and then some things are just not, maybe they're about the job, but we're just talking, right? Like two people that talk. So yeah, I did mention Nino called me dooming, so I you know, about the election, because you did.
Oh my God.
What? What? That's all I said. One thing.
Like I said, water
like,
to
how
sewage.
did we? Yeah, that's literally all I said, because I wanted to make her understand, like, first of all, how we even got to talking, because I felt like maybe she thought I went out of my way to seek you to complain,
No.
and I am not a fucking complainer that seeks people to, like, you know, be on my side for whatever. So I just let her know that you called me dooming. I'm gonna lose the election, whatever. So then I started
Oh my
dooming,
God,
and that was it. What? But then I told her, like, obviously I can't go into specifics with Nino because he's the mayor, but I did tell him some of my frustrations because I had nobody else to say them to. But I also, I listen. I
Transparency
laid it
is
out.
good.
I did. I didn't lie.
Yeah.
I told her, and then she brought up things about that we talked about hiring and firing and whatever.
There is obviously there's a lot more people that I've spoken to, right? And there's a pattern here. I mean, and
check it out.
there's a couple things that, and like I said, I don't want to do Daisy injustice, right? There's parts of conversations that are between us, right? Or me, her, and Peters. But given the fact that I did mention you, I wanted to tell you some of what happened and why it happened as best I can. So
I was definitely like, what the fuck, to myself, what the fuck did Nino say? But then I was like, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. It's, you know, I got this. It's good. I'm not mad. Like, I understand what you did and why you did it.
Well, I wasn't thinking you were mad. I just wanted to.
No, but I was like, what the fuck? Because of, you know, like being approached and like, oh, you're talking to Nino type stuff. But I know it was coming from a good place.
You weren't the only individual I brought up. So I'm going to highlight some things, right, that I think is relevant to what I mentioned that you have kind of told me in a bit of confidence, right? And why I needed to say what was said. As you mentioned, that the perception of if you are skipping a chain of command to speak to me is not only damaging to your career, but can be perceived by those who are not around, right?
Yeah.
And I know this because I've dealt with this in the past. Not with me personally, but those around me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I know that it can happen. And it's usually a case where someone's like this, you're here like 50 hours a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Understandably, some people may be around a third of that. Perfectly fine, nothing wrong with it. However, let me be even more straight. As what I mentioned, and I said this rather straight, is there's a reason why Maxwell gets a lot of pressure, and I'll just, you carry the PD in shift 1 80% of the time. Vivian Gray, also big carrier, right?
Oh, hey, buddy.
But it doesn't matter if it's beast. Like, I'm not blind. I'm not deaf. I talk to people. I've been in the back of your car, back of other people's cars. I still see it. I could be on the side of the street. I could drive by a fucking thing. When I give you a call, I know you're in a bench trial with that shooting that I just saw an hour and a half ago, right? I'm observant. The reality of the matter is that I know that whether it's a fucking gang shooting, whether it's like a fucking raid, whatever the fuck it is, more likely than not, you're having to handle it. And if something happens if some shit happens and I need LSPD command, 80% probability you're the highest capable officer on duty between both departments, right? I'm not calling Ventura. I'm not calling fucking Aspen, right?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that going to do? No, I got to call Maxwell. And that was a key highlight piece, is that the mayor needs to work with the PD, and you are the interface 80% of the time. And therefore, I know what's happening. I have a pretty good idea what you're doing. And as a consequence of that, I don't need to give a fuck what the rest of high command may or may not think is happening. Because, with all due respect, opinions don't mean shit. Action does. And I'm not blind to deaf. You feel me?
I do.
So when anything is characterized or related, comes from somewhere, someone that doesn't, I know, see you on a daily basis as much as I do, I don't really give a shit. You feel me? I don't want you. I know that at a certain point, regardless of, you're an adult and all these whatever, is at a certain point, people like you, whether you realize it or not, the pressure can get too much. You're not the first one. There's a couple people I know who all had the same thing. You need people catching it and constantly communicating, and not just being like, well, they're not bringing up that there's any problems, there must be none. No, it's a fucking job to make sure that everything that's needed is there, right? So those are the kind of conversations that brought up, and I needed to use very specific examples because, others in the department may either today or in the future end up with the same, they might be facing the same thing. So, yeah.
Well, I do appreciate that you see, even like I don't ask you to see. I know it's your job, right? And you are around every day. Have more connects than I do, of course. And I do feel like you probably know me better than most of High Command. Probably all of them combined, to be fair.
Yeah.
But, hopefully that changes after our talk today, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
I feel like Peters knows me pretty well, but he's not really been present.
That was a big part of the topic yesterday. How
was what?
Was a big part of the topic yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What, Peters?
No. Presence, right? I think a lot of us, a lot changed post-holidays, right? I highlighted a lot of regressions around the police department. Now, I'm not somebody that's going to hold it against anyone. I think I want to be set the record just very straight. Well, Moss and Peterson as well. They are still very much the best people for the job. And they have undergone significantly more challenges than I think any other member of high command. If you think about the last 6 months.
I mean, I can't compare them to a little bit of the previous high command. I know. I mean, I feel like in the beginning, I was constantly defending them to everybody so that they had a chance to like prove themselves. I mean, even Peters, he is something else, but I don't think anybody wanted him as ass chief. But honestly, like the way he stepped up as soon as he got it and just started shutting shit down and standing up for us, you know, I see that shit, but everybody else couldn't see past the dumb shit he used to do, right?
Yeah.
Same with Moss. I mean, if I had $1 for every time they were like, oh, some cadet made chief, are you fucking kidding me? As if they weren't cadets or they could do a better fucking job themselves. It's actually insane to me.
Well, most of them have fucked off now, you know, haven't really done anything of merit.
No, I think some are still here just waiting for their turn, you know?
They're still figuring out that GSR doesn't win you court cases. Some people have tried 3 times over, still keep doing it.
Jesus. They're just waiting for you to be gone so they can, you know, step back into the limelight again. I just don't give a shit about any of that, you know?
Yeah. Here's kind of the bigger picture here, right? And I'm not, you know, I'm going to say something that's probably going to piss you off, but I'm going to say it anyways. At the end of the day, what I said last night, what resulted in those conversations, it's less about you and more about this PD needs to start stepping it up. And with the shit that I've had to witness over the past week and a half, Saturday being the biggest one, right? Because clearly when some people aren't around, fucking all the kids, regardless if there's, you know, a captain around, actually 2 captains and a undersheriff, shit will still hit the fan and no one gives a fuck in the county. And, you know, that becomes my responsibility then. And then I gotta bring in the heavy hand and provide the solutions. Because the only other alternative is to kick over the fucking scuffed Jenga tower that is the PD and try again. And that's just not realistic.
Right. I get it.
Yeah. But
did you mention your way of holding people, you know, to answer? And
I'm going to be honest with you. I've been in meetings for 10 and a half hours today. I think I brought it up. Oh my God. You have no idea. It was so actually really good. Turner, I think, worked some magic today.
Yeah.
I am telling you the biggest problem right now, and I think Turner's going to help. Because the thing is, I can say things right, but y'all are never going to know if I'm saying it for some ulterior motive. We've been through so much trauma collectively. But Turner as an outside resource can once again provide a lot of things he said. I think everyone kind of agreed with is the communication, right? And even today, gonna take a while. Some of these problems really require bringing everyone in a fucking room and hashing that shit out, right? You can't talk to one party and then talk to the other party, especially when you don't know how to communicate, right? No one can in San Andreas. Everyone's like, well, 95% of us is diagnosed with ADHD. You know what I mean?
That is facts.
And so, like, it's just not practical. I think other things we kind of concluded on is even when it comes to me communicating with the PD and expectations, it's going to start being written down, right? Here's what I'm expecting. In fact, one of those things on that list is documented decisions, right? And whether it's you, whether it's Peters, whether it's Moss, or whether, I mean, all too often, some of the most important critical things are not documented. Nobody fucking knows. You know what I mean? Nobody knows. Is it another speed? Was a decision made? Can you do this? Can you do that? You know what I mean? And if that's not like ingrained in the managers, in your case, the command, right? And Haya, well, then that's a huge hole, right? On critical things. I'm not talking like, you know, if there's a raid and you need the fucking ID number of the thing, it's more like, you know, who hires and fires, right? Was there a decision? Like, what's the call, right? Like, those are critical components, and there's probably like 8 functions that you guys do that are probably critical. I'm pulling a number out of my ass, but I hope you understand what I mean by that. Is like, so. But yeah.
I think I am gonna mention something about when we update things, you know, unit numbers, etc. It's like, instead of it just being a report, it needs to go straight to the SOPs, maybe like a live updated thing weekly, because there's a lot of things that are not in the SOPs that are things that we just abide by or we've discussed between departments, and that's what we're doing now. Do you know what I mean? But it's not written for the cadets or PPOs to kind of follow unless they've actively been a part of whatever it is, whether it's, oh, now laundromat's 4 units instead of 6. So, you know, you need to break off, or, you know, when we're shooting tires out from a vehicle, what are the guidelines for that? That's not going to be in the SOPs.
And if you're gone for like 2 weeks, how do you know? You know what?
Exactly.
You know what? When the Marshall SOPs get updated, that's a really fucking good format that Barrett put together.
Really?
It's very short, and it's only got the big pieces on it. And I feel like y'all's... Look, this is what I mean by suggestion, right? Is I imagine your SOPs are like 50 pages long. Like, type shit. No one's going to know what's in 50 pages. But there's probably some critical things that should only ever and always be in at most a singular page or a 2-page like sort of thing. And not only acknowledgement when there's an update, but that everyone needs to know that shit back to top to bottom type shit. You know what I mean? There was an example brought up yesterday about like confusion over who's supposed to hire and fire. How do you have autonomy, right? How do you suspend all those kind of things? And it sounded to me like there was confusion around it amongst many command members, and the SOPs had to be referenced. To me, there's already an issue. You know what I mean? Not because no one knows it, but it's hidden. It's obfuscated.
Because we never fired anybody before.
What?
Let me stop. Sorry.
Yeah. But anyways, I don't want to go into any more detail. I mostly want to just bring up some of the relevant stuff.
I agree. I feel like there needs to be, not even just for like, I guess that's more of like a command book type thing, right? But also I feel like there should be some type of like field something like a field book of like, boom, we can just pop it open and this is how you run through dealing with somebody on bail. Because I'm gonna be like, these are all things that have only been a thing for extended amount of time, right? So like people don't even know what the fuck to do with somebody on bail. Like, and it's not written anywhere. It's just we've dealt with it, so we know. People have no, you know what I mean? If I'm off duty or Aaron's off duty or a certain couple different people off duty, then this, you know, they arrest them, they're on bail, they're not gonna know what to do with them.
And I don't necessarily want to workshop too hard, but I feel like these, like even this conversation is probably the kind of things that y'all should be having.
Oh, I am.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I know. It's definitely that's. I told Moss I'm gonna start writing shit down because I'm gonna be honest. I squirrel a lot and I have to write things down. Because I have a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
But I can't be doing it all by myself. I have a lot. And I, quite frankly, don't want to do everything. And I'm not going to.
No.
But I
Here's
need
the
it
opportunity.
to be done. Yeah. Well, I need it done, right? If people are going to continue to grow and learn how to do things, including their job, I need people to help teach them to do it. I don't just mean like cadets. I mean officers that don't know how to do certain things, even though they're officers, right? Officers that have never represented themselves in a bench trial or posted on the docket or written a subpoena for phone records, you know? Like there's a lot of things that people don't know how to do and there's no tools to really, it's a lot. You know what I mean? Like, but I can spit out ideas all day long, but I need somebody helping with the notes, right? Kind of like when I'm working with Doc, right? He's really good at the paperwork and like we go back and forth, we balance it. I'll spit out the shit and then he'll help get it down, you know? But it can't just be on us.
Oh my god, oh my god,
Yeah,
oh my god. Did I
absolutely.
Hit the car?
Spreading of
Oh, no, I understand. Yes, I've heard of her.
yeah, it's hard to, it's always going to be a challenge to get other people to pick up things, right? Enabling folks and then balancing between that and making it like a requirement for the job, right? I mean, I face those challenges literally every day as well, right? As crazy as it sounds, you know.
People signed up to be in your cabinet. What do they think they were going to do? Just look pretty?
Yeah. Fuck around, they find out. Look at Tilly.
Well, okay. I don't know what's going on with you and Tilly. All right, that's you know, I'm here. There's rumors.
What's the rumor? I'll tell you right now. She was doing something that was gonna put the entire county in jeopardy. And that's all I can say. Yeah.
Well, I was talking about the syphilis stuff. But
No.
Okay.
I don't.
I don't know
It's
what's worse. Yeah, like
yeah. So I didn't fuck around. I didn't wait
Okay.
for this and that. No, it's just I gave her an opportunity. I gave a clear directive. You make a choice, or you know what I mean. And she's not the first one. I got rid of someone prior to that. I there's like lines, right? You cross the line, I'm gonna give you an opportunity. I'm gonna be nice, baby gloves, and then it's just I axe, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because you know I'm not a what is it called? Like I don't know.
Pushover.
I think I'm fair but stern. You know what I mean? Because if you don't have like your boundaries or like you always, I feel like with everything you do, right? You always need to have that clear red line, right? And if someone's getting too close to it, you know, you start with, the closer you get, you start with nice, and then you got to be a little bit more stern. But if they're just fucking around, it's just boom, right? I did deal with that with Quantum earlier today. He's on his last leg Friday. If it doesn't come off good, he's, you know what I mean?
Isn't he the one that was supposed to keep Tilly busy for a while?
Yeah, it's just, yeah. Oh, yeah, there was Ajax, too. Oof. He saw a side of Nino that
the drill shit.
Yes. Oh my God. You should have heard me lay into him.
Yeah, he lied.
Very
right? I
few
mean,
people hear that from me.
Then that just tells me he's a good fucking liar because he lied straight through his fucking teeth on that phone about, what do you mean? I would never do that. I know. Da, da, da. Okay, well, guess what? I haven't called him one fucking time.
I'll tell
Do
you
anything.
I'll tell you now, since it's past the statute of limitation.
Hey.
I heard the accusation in the PD, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really, I was like, I hate being lied to. If like it's heavy shit, you know what I mean? Like serious shit. Because now I'm forced to, it puts me in a position where I'm going to make bad decisions based on the lie, right? Or defend someone based on their lie, right? And that makes my blood boil if it's serious.
Mm-hmm.
Ajax, that thing happened at PD. Okay, whatever, right? Like, he's going to handle it, whatever. PD can handle it, not whatever. And now bear in mind, he was in Pred's cabinet, but we had exhausted dozens. Like, you probably had an idea. We spent night and day protecting, getting Pred out of this mess, right? From the warrant to all these, whatever. So he decides he wanted to meet up with, I think, me and Tilly or something over, actually right here. No, not here, the fucking surfboard place down the way. And out of the blue, he's like, yeah, well, Nino, you know, he's got the fucking deep voice. Yeah, you know.
Oh my God.
I don't know what they're saying about this drill, but I would never take a drill. And like, you know, I hope you believe me. And I'm just like, why is this motherfucker bringing up this drill again, like out of the blue? And so, and now I wasn't sus. Now I'm sus. Because like now you just bring this shit up, like out of like, you know what I mean?
Can't help it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, why? Like, what happened to it? And he kept lying and lying. And then I knew, I'm like, okay, this motherfucker's lying. So I go, I said some shit like,
Hey, Matt, this is Lisa. Well,
I don't remember what questions I asked him. It's been a minute. But I got him to claim that he was able to, he started claiming that he could change people's parts at Mosley's without the drill. Because I had caught him out on a lie, right? And as soon as I found like an area where I thought he was lying, I started questioning into there and exposed it. And he pretty much started saying like, I don't know, like it's scuff, like, you know. And I told him, you're a fucking liar or whatever. And I left it at that. I then meet up with him again over at the Maze Bank. And the same shit happens, and I'm telling you, I turned that man into a boy the way I spoke to him, right? And because for me, that lie could have been a waste of me. It could have been a waste of 300 like man hours of our time leading up to, you know, with all the Pred stuff. It could have led to Pred getting unfairly investigated and all that shit. And to me, I don't fuck with that shit. You know what I mean? I fucking tore right into him. So, you know, there's lines to things. I'm not saying you should do the same, but I'm just...
No,
you know.
I agree. It got Bobby suspended. You know? Because everybody thought he was fucking lying. And that's why I called Ajax to question him. Did he, like, just to hear, because you know how you can tell, like, if I talk to somebody in a roundabout way, I just kind of listen to how they react, you know? Like, I'm pretty good with that. And I'm going to be honest, I was really on the fence with him. And I just thought, you know what? I'm not fucking coming to you ever again, dude. Because I could, like, he was a wall. And I wasn't getting any read from him. So I was like, he's got to be fucking hiding it, you know? And Bobby got in trouble for it. Swore up and down Ajax took it. And I'm like, why didn't you call it in? You know, but it ended up being, you know, he shouldn't have, you know, he didn't have permission to have it anyway. So it was a whole thing.
If I remember correctly, he took it. One of his excuses was he took it to fuck around with Bobby, and then forgot and kept it or some shit.
So why not tell me that? Like, you know, I even told him, I was like, did you accidentally? No, I gave it right back to him. He fucking told me right through the phone. I gave it back to him. I don't have the drill. I'm not like that. Okay. So you're one of those people. Cool. Good to know. Like, I literally have you working on my car with thousands of dollars worth of parts in it. I don't think so, dude.
Yeah.
You know? I'm not padding your fucking pocket anymore.
Yeah. And for us, it was worse. It's like, imagine someone in the cabinet who's willing to lie to everyone.
Cabinet. He said, I'm not in Nino's fucking cabinet.
Listen, Pred was in my cabinet, all right? He was like, I put him in office. I kept him in office. He did what I asked him to do.
Yeah.
So, like...
Just didn't make sense because you were funding
Pred,
our repairs.
But you get
and
what
shit.
I'm saying, right?
No,
like,
I get it. It just didn't make sense monetary wise because he was like fucking over what you had going with the PD and mechanics by doing that. If he was part of that situation, which I wasn't sure if he was one of your mechanics, but I was like, I'm gonna tell everybody in the PD not to go to his dumb ass ever again or anything.
Yeah. Oh, that wasn't the only thing he did. You know what else he did? He somehow convinced the material, like the MOPEC down here, to be giving them materials up north.
What's up, man?
And he couldn't comprehend why I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I heard the traffic was canceled.
I mean, I was like, it's extortion. Like, we can't just like magically start donating. Like, you know, it's like, ugh. It's like, just fucking pass our legislation, bro. Like, pass the Charity Act and we'll fucking give you... I don't know. Technicalities. Everyone likes to lean on technicalities when caught out.
What do you want, Brad?
So, anyways.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, no, Pred was back today.
Oh, I know, Nino.
I am so hoping.
He made sure to phone me today.
I hope he runs for sheriff.
Wait, no fucking way.
I tried to encourage him.
That's kind of fucked, okay?
Why?
For him. I just feel bad. Like, what? Like,
wait, for who?
The fuck? The misery. It's misery up there for him. Why would you want him to do that, Nino?
What do you mean he'd actually fix BCSO?
Would he? Or would they all just fucking go off duty and fucking run G6 until he's gone?
How does that change your life?
No, it doesn't. I just feel bad for Pred because of how everybody shits on him.
Can I vent about this? I didn't. This is one of those things that I was going to bring up with like Peters and Daisy, right? This is more of those like, you guys are going to solve it, but I'm going to tell you I'm pissed about it.
Yeah.
This court case tomorrow, the future Hendricks one, you know about it?
Yes, I do.
How the fuck is Aaron being put in a position where she, and this isn't, I know, do you know she has to go to trial tomorrow, right?
I just found out today, and we have somebody else that offered to go help her, but it sounds like it was all her up until
because
an hour ago.
One of that same fucking dumb fuck is in ICU. Now,
I just found that out too.
Here's my problem. I'm going to start by saying Grayson is right from a legal perspective, from a due process perspective, right? I'm going to hold that stance. It's not on him. He's actually doing it by the book. But if you notice, if you ignore some of that and the shittiness that Aaron has to do with now almost having to solo this, right? Once again, LSPD saving the day. Well, fucking Blaine County apparently and tell me I'm wrong here, I noticed Aaron had to put a motion to remove 2 interrogation tapes. Now, if you don't know this, Maxwell, that means this dumb cunt didn't put it in the fucking report. Oh, it gets worse.
God.
It gets worse. You know what that means? Based on Yeah, you see where this is going?
Yeah, there's not going to be enough evidence.
Not that it's not enough evidence necessarily. It's that there could be, because it's an interrogation with 2 people that are a part of the incident, there could have been things said in that tape that nobody can know because it doesn't exist that is exculpatory.
No, I'm just chilling out.
So anything said is admissible.
I'm saving up.
No, it's like that. Okay, so because that BCSO officer did not put it in the report, and from the docket it says this fucking shit got pushed 10 days ago, right? And because those 2 interrogations, one I think was for Jay Hobbs, and the second was, I don't remember the guy's name, right? So Jay Hobbs got a plea deal. Hold on, let me pull it up right now, so I'm talking on facts.
No, I am too. I'm going to be honest. I haven't read the case. Aaron just vented to me about it today, and we have somebody helping her tomorrow. But I just found out that he's in the ICU as well. Why is there nobody replacing him?
Yes.
On that end.
No. Maxwell, it's worse. She has to remove 2 interrogation tapes from the docket. Even though one of those people, maybe both, have already signed a plea agreement, Future is still going to trial, and those interrogation tapes may have exonerated him.
Wait, what?
Which means it's exculpatory because nobody knows. Who knows what's in the tape? Who knows what Future said in the interrogation? Who knows what the second guy said in the interrogation? Robin can literally say that it's exculpatory evidence and they got rid of it.
What's up, man?
It could not only be a regular mistrial, but in this particular case, it could be mistrialed with prejudice or like dismissed with prejudice, which means Future walks. Now, hopefully that doesn't happen, but I'll tell you right now, as a defense attorney, I would fucking jump into that real fucking fast and I'd hammer it in. And you know why? Because I'd say, they had 10 fucking days to put the interrogation case in. And you know what the wild thing is? You ready for this?
Hey, Matt, this is Lisa.
This already happened last week with Sky Faye in the Flop Dugong case where there was a mistrial. It was a case at 1 a.m. Eastern or 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time where Flop Dugong...
It was mistrial?
Yes, it was mistrialed a week and a half ago.
Why?
Because Sky didn't put the Flop's interrogation tape in. A 40-minute interrogation tape. And when Robin brought it up, right? When Robin brought it up, it had to be mistrialed because no one knew what they said. Sky's reaction was, according to her, right? You ready for this? We didn't think it was relevant. It's not your choice. That's the judge's choice. So it got mistrialed.
What? I didn't even know that because
rescheduled.
of the...
Yes. And
Oh
that's
my
aside from the
God.
fact, she actually said some shit about it being like petty or dumb or like that's so, like, I forgot what she said. The Flop would know. It was what she said. I remember when I heard that shit, like made me fucking want to like just take one of those Marshall tanks and stop blasting at the PD. Like, it's like, it was one of those.
I had no idea it was mistrialed over that shit.
That's why I'm writing the Flop, what is it? The Floppy Nana Act. Because you ready for this? Because Nana, who's also in the ADMC, also had this happen. You ready for it? 3 months ago. You remember when? When Nana Banana was standing trial for murder and that motherfucker left out evidence and then fucking changed all the reports. You remember that shit? So it happened twice. Now, part of that is on the judge's fault because the judge at the time was supposed to actually put in case law, and they didn't.
My God.
So as a consequence of what happened with Sky and Flop, I'm now passing legislation that I'm, you know, it was a choice between the Floppy Nana or the Dumb Fuck Act, right? Where it says if law enforcement does an interrogation with a hag charge, you are required to date, timestamp, state who is there, and put it onto the docket. Otherwise, you know what I mean? Like I spoke to Hart about it. The idea is that now we need this Dumb Fuck Act, which pretty much says you need this when you're going to trial. If you have the interrogation tape, it must go in, because you can't just interrogate someone and it's just not included.
I literally just did one and included it immediately in my
Yeah,
report.
Hey, Matt,
it's insane. Who knows what was said? Something could be, because think about it, like, as the reason why it's so exculpatory is if, like, let's say you're interrogating me for something, I may say something in that tape that is exonerating me or is like valuable, but you don't necessarily know that. I'm just making statements, and my statement, there's no way to correlate that with the other evidence and the defense that might be brought up, right? Like I say, for example, I'm telling you, I was, you know, like let's say there's a murder case and I'm the suspected murderer, and in interrogation I'm like, I was getting ice cream on the pier with Michael Roselle writing legislation, right? Or something. And you're like, yeah, fuck you, whatever. Like, we got all this other evidence, right? Now it goes to trial, right? And in that trial, I've entered in a receipt for ice cream. You might not even remember I said that. You might have just been like, whatever.
Right.
But now that receipt plus the tape, I should be not guilty, right? Because that was my affirmative defense. So, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I knew the trial happened. I had no idea it fucking mistrial before it went again, and they were found, you know, charged with whatever. So
Yeah.
So yeah. What is it? The banana.
The Floppy Nana, because it
the
happened to Nana Banana and it happened to
Floppy
Flop.
Got it.
So,
Hey, dude.
got it.
or maybe I'll use the acronyms ADMC and that'll be the name of the legislation. Like,
I mean, I guess it could work.
yeah. I don't know what the acronym would be for, but I don't know, I forget.
So that's going to be interesting tomorrow.
Oh my God. Robin's going to eat this alive.
Oh my God.
That's why
Robin
I feel so bad.
I hate Robin. He is so toxic, but he's so good.
He's not.
And I don't
Wait,
mean
what?
it in like a rude. No, I mean
He's
it in,
really
like,
good against the
good
PD.
way. Yes, but he's a fucking asshole. Okay, he is a fucking asshole.
You are
PD,
lucky
but
you haven't seen me
he's
in
great.
trial. If you think Robin is an asshole,
Yeah.
I used to have cops quit mid-trial
Oh my God.
and start saying crazy things.
No, he's good at what he does, and I definitely, yeah, I think he scares people.
You want to hear one of my
wild.
Speedy, my son? He you know this already, right?
No, I didn't know he was
Yeah.
your son.
You know Lane, my daughter-in-law? Or not daughter-in-law, sister/daughter
Lane?
of the you know, the biker gang up in Chumanch. Yeah. Tongue in cheek, not, you know, not serious. Anyways, so Speedy, about 15 years ago, 10 years ago, had a weapon bench in a rancho up off Sonora Road. He used to own that property, him and a bunch of folks in the Vagos, or maybe this was somewhat post Vagos. And you know, the PD found it, the bench. Inside there was bricks of coke, crates of automatic firearms, AK-47s. And there was like a weapons bench with like schematics for, I don't know, I think some small like SMGs or something, right? Trial of the century, right? Got him red-handed, right? Property belonged. I think what had happened was like someone was growing weed on the property. They ran in the house. You know, warrant was created for it. And they found all this, right? I got him off all charges because PD went inside, took 2 or 3 pictures, and put it on the docket. That's it. So I went to trial.
Oh my God.
So I went to trial. Mind you, I wasn't supposed to be the lead attorney. It was 4 other attorneys. I came in to watch, and they go, "Hey, Nino, why don't you join in on this?" I'm like, okay, fuck it. I freeballed the entire defense. I looked at the evidence, because there wasn't a lot of it, and I made the argument with each and every officer that how do you know whether or not it's a prop? And it triggered the fuck out of all the PD. Because now it wasn't a weird argument, right? Even to this day, people think it was meant to be a weird argument, like a prop, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's. Oh
yeah, I got a gun rack at my house. You know, it's just a prop.
Kind of. So my argument was, because back then, like evidence needed to be of a particular caliber, right?
Okay.
And so I said, "What is this in the picture?" Pointing at what appeared to be a brick of coke. And they're like, "That's a thing of coke." And I was like, "Did you weigh it?" "No." "Did you give a sample to the lab?"
Oh my God, you know.
"Is it coke? Is it sugar? Is it a box? Is it plastic?" Couldn't answer, right? Okay, next. Was these AKs, did you put it in evidence? Yes. How many were there? 6. Was there a serial number? No. Were the boxes labeled with serial numbers? No. And then I point out that there was serial numbers.
Oh my God.
I'm like, did you test this? Did you bring it to the lab? Did you count any of these? Do you get what I'm saying? And the argument is it was a prop, was never anything other than, did you run it in the lab? Which, by the way, used to be very standard. Because what you would do is you'd bring this unknown, like think about it today, right? You get a bag of coke, right?
Yep.
You have to bring it to Sama and they run lab analysis. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
But the PD had just taken 3 photos and posted it up and said, "Trust me, bro."
They didn't even do ballistics on the fucking guns.
They, you couldn't, but they could have. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there was nothing done other than taking 3 photos with the camera
Right.
and posting it up.
Like zero
So,
effort.
no.
Period. Put into it.
Yeah. Two people rage quit the court case.
Oh my God.
It was
Because they felt you were
No, I think they knew what I was saying. It was so embarrassing. That was the inference, right? To the point I had to keep on clarifying exactly what was being stated, right? But yeah, it's I think to this day people still have nightmares of the prop argument. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I'm really good at pissing people off while in there. Because I'll say like lace shit that I know the other party knows, but the judge has no idea about. Because you got to get under the defense of the prosecution, right?
Yeah.
You get under their skin, they can't think anymore, right? There's another thing, right? Which is if you could use this, if somebody is, let's say, a series of questions are being asked, right? And they're trying to establish like a foundation, or they're starting to paint the picture really well. You start bullshit objecting. Doesn't matter if you're right or wrong, because what it does is it breaks that person's train of thought. They forget what train of thought they're on. Now they're fucked. Is that making sense?
Yeah, no, it does. Mm-hmm.
Now the judge may not remember. Maybe they were taking notes, but the picture's not there anymore. All of a sudden they're wondering, why did you say objection pizza? Like, what the fuck is that? Like, what does that mean? So, anyways. Yeah. Anyways.
I feel like I could handle throwing wild objections.
Yeah, you just kind of like, you know. Oh, man. I can't wait to do law again.
Hey, honey. How are you?
Yeah. You hear Frost got lawyer today?
Oh my God.
They certified him today.
Wow.
At a court case because he did so well.
I thought you still haven't fired that guy?
Arnold.
Yeah, after like...
Why? What did he do?
Didn't he fucking do some shit? You were going to fire him like 2 months ago.
You told me he was trying to fuck you and to tell him to leave you alone or something.
Oh, that one. I thought you meant the other one.
Oh, see, that's why I call him Arnold, because then I feel like I call him Hey Arnold, because then everybody's like, oh, this guy. No, my shift. Arnold.
Yeah.
You know the one that's gay and celibate and tells everybody 12,000 times? That one.
Jesus.
Beans on toast one. Mm-hmm.
You know, one time I was Pred's attorney. Then I found out halfway through the court case. No. Actually, never mind. Sorry. It's been a minute. I've taken I don't know. Court's fun. I find it interesting.
So is that your plan after this term? Or are you going to actually open
I'm actually going to destroy the PD.
Okay, Kit.
Kit's nothing.
I don't know. We still can't clock on duty.
That's not true terrorism. True terrorism is you get out on patrol and you're scared I might see you run a red light. And whether or not it's going to hit the docket.
Nothing, just doing my daily walk.
Keep your eyes on the state announcement. You know, Lieutenant Maxwell, you're being called down for bench.
Yeah, bench this.
Yeah. No, I think I'm gonna. I don't really know. I was joking about being the DA, but
that'd be so nice.
I would never.
Yeah, I know. It's
No.
fine. We're gross. The PD's disgusting. Even though you're the mayor, listen, you know, I get it. I see you standing on the other side.
I have to play. I do not. And
I get it. I get it.
I play
Politics.
I have to listen to PD crying and people crying, and I have to pretty much manage both sides, right? And
listen,
apparently,
I remember the first day I heard you talking in the fucking square about PD this, PD that.
Yeah.
You know, not knowing PD was in the crowd.
You're acting like you don't have problems with Ruby while she was running the show, and why I made those statements.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
Peter's asked me what's up with me and Ruby today. I literally have no problem.
I just don't know what your problem is. Like, do you see her as competition, or like what's going on?
There's no problem. Nino, I don't give a damn. We're on fucking the same call multiple times to like what? How is there an issue? I don't have an issue.
Listen, that's what I've been hearing too. I don't like. Listen,
You know what my only
you know
issue
what you probably
is with her?
need? I think you two need to sit down and hash it out.
There's no sit down.
Yeah.
Listen, that she hasn't done anything specifically to me. Okay, it's when my children, okay, my shift.
Oh no, you do that too?
And
That's why. Oh my God, I didn't know you do that as well. Sorry, continue.
Talking about. Well, that's what they are basically.
That's what she calls her officers.
Who? Ruby?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, Frost tried to say we were besties today, and I said we're not. Ago. Okay. Well, they come to me and tell me how poorly they've been treated by a passive-aggressive command member.
Now I know what the issue is.
They will never work in another shift again. You're goddamn right. I'm gonna be upset about it. And it's not the first, second, or last time that I've heard the same fucking comments. Passive-aggressive, passive-aggressive. And I just don't understand why. Do I care? I mean, yes, but please bring that to my face because I will handle it. Do you know what I mean? I have no problem handling passive aggressive because I give it right back. The issue is it's not usually to my face. So I don't.
I was only joking. I didn't mean it.
Yeah. I mean, I have my own opinions based on my own experiences with her. I'm just not going to say anything, but I'm just going to let you know I have my own opinions. And that doesn't mean that I don't like somebody. I just think that other people do a better job at certain things. You know?
I do. And that's fair.
She's a good officer, but I don't think she's a good ass chief. You know what I mean?
No, neither did I. That's why Vivian didn't become chief. You meant lieutenant. Which, by the way, I think Vivian's great. It's unfortunate, you know.
It is. I honestly, I told her when I heard the whole thing about her not getting chief, because that was, it's a big deal. Kind of rumors in the hallway, and Nino promised up until the last second, and Nino swiped it from under her.
Can I be honest with you?
Mm-hmm.
Those rumors never should have been in the hallway. That's the real issue.
Well, I remember a certain Denzel calling you about Ruby previous to her being not hired as chief. I know.
I'm telling you that.
No, it's not. That's
shouldn't
not
have been
the
in the
only
hallway.
reason.
It got
But
fucking awkward for everybody.
I still bitched at him about it. I'm like,
it wasn't
Denzel,
even him. No.
Stay the fuck out of the way. Like,
yeah.
If Nino wants this is what Nino wants, you know?
With him, yeah.
Yeah, because he was upset about something with her. And like I told Viv, I think that all it means when somebody really wants a position and they don't get it, that there's another time that they have a chance to get it, right?
I agree.
Do
you know what happened
her time.
from my POV?
What?
Of course I wore a
I don't know if you ever told you.
Can you and Mom go
I think it was a case of like, this is what we're thinking, but these are the requirements. And I think the requirements were kind of, I think she heard the first part, but not the disclaimer. And a big part of that disclaimer was, hell no Barrick, hell no Ruby.
Oh.
And there wasn't, for me, waiting. And it was like, it's going to be Ruby for my ass chief. I was just like, what the fuck? Yeah. And I
feel like it'd be different if she wasn't already ass chief and there was, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, we had history at the time. I mean, the best way I can explain it is like, and it's one of those challenges too, because you can say no about someone, right? But it becomes a difficulty of like, how much do I have to explain how big the no is, right? Without throwing that other person under the bus even further. And for me, she was one of the core reasons I ran for mayor. when she refused to work with lawyers to provide FOIAs and protect them even though so much wrong was taking place. It was the inherent notion that I'm very anti-thin blue line, and she represented that at the time, right? You know, something wrong was done law enforcement wise, and you're willing to protect to the extent of what most would, I think, rational people would consider a cover-up, right? And I know what I'm describing today, not every cop realizes that difference, right? I don't mean like you shoot someone and you hide the bullet, right? But I'm talking slacks level shit, right? It was probably, everyone probably thought he was a great cop.
I'm trying to get hold of
2 months it took, keep in mind, for it to come out that he illegally looked at Tilly's phone, right? Which is insane. And that 2 of his direct reports altered case files in order to attempt to keep their jobs and win in court, right? None of that would have they were protected. She was one of the protectors of them. And I want you to keep that in the back of your mind that that even though Slacks did that, and even though I forgot what the other 2's names were, it was Maeve and
Riker, right?
Yeah.
I felt bad for him. And you probably don't, but like
he altered I did too, and
no,
then
I
altered the
know.
case file like days leading up.
I know. I feel so bad.
Like
because
I literally opened up with this guy. I went from hating him to like warming up, and then the guy goes and alters fucking reports. Like what the fuck? But where I'm going with this is, what they did was wrong, but they were enabled by the high command and command, right?
Who hung them out to fucking dry, you know?
That is not true. That is not true. Let me ask you something, Maxwell. If you heard that somebody went and illegally looked at a suspect's phone, right? And that now this has been brought up to you, would you pretend it didn't happen? Or would you suspend them?
We don't have time for dinner anymore, you baboso.
No, I would suspend them, but I mean,
exactly.
Again, that whole situation, I was told, things that, the whole deleting of things in the report or changing it was not brought to my attention till later. Allegedly a lawyer told him to do, it doesn't matter now, right? But the point is he was like a newer officer and thought he was listening to command. I think had he not fucked with the report, he probably would have been in better standing with the PD.
Agreed.
Because he did what he was told by command.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when he found out he should not have looked at it, even if Slack said this and went back and changed it, that's when he screwed himself. Because he was trying to not be fired, at the time.
He started becoming an officer I could go to help work out warrants. But it was the environment, right? I think. And to me, that was the key thing. It wasn't, I hate because every guy's brought up with me, like, as if I got issues with Ruby as a person. It was like, no, it's the principle, right? Is that...
Well, right. Same. Well, that's the same for me. It's just about how she deals with certain things and the way that she deals with them. Like, obviously we do things very differently. I do have respect for her, but it's the same thing. I do not have an issue working with her, nor with anybody.
Yeah.
Because
I was only joking about that, by the way. I wasn't trying to be serious.
Just so you know, though, I don't. Like, I feel like people just make shit up and then just spin it. And I don't like... Maybe she said something. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. True. I don't really give a fuck.
Can I be honest with you?
Fuck. She doesn't fuck with my shit.
I think within PD has like an issue, and I've noticed this, especially a lot with the last 3 weeks. These sort of conversations is that I think people do something called stirring, but it's actually like worse. There actually, I think there's let's just call it drama baiting, fuck stirring. Like, because there's stirring like what I just did, right?
Yeah.
We're like, oh, Ruby, that's a little star, right? That's starring. You're just starting. But this is like, we're talking about taking like a fucking like 5,000 watt blender and throwing it in, right? Where it's like, I hear this and then I go talk to Ruby. I'm like, yo, so I heard, you know, I heard Maxwell hates you. What's going on with that? You know what I'm saying?
I honestly feel like people do that, like on the regular,
Yeah.
and then
But with serious shit too.
But
right,
but then I hear stuff like, you know, little bits here and there, and I'm like, well, how come nobody comes and says shit to my face? Like, nobody ever confronts me about anything. I don't understand if they're like, am I intimidating? You know, like, yes, I'll get loud. But it's not me yelling. I'm just a loud person. And if I'm trying to get my point across, I don't know. Like, I get hyper sometimes. I don't know. I feel like people turn that into something it's not.
I think it's. I'm gonna go back to it. Is starring used to mean like starring is funny, right? But like it's for, you know, it's a moment, it's contained, person walks away, they know it was just, you know, for the lulz or whatever, right?
When it's not affecting your job,
it's not affecting anything, right? But starring, I think, also now means just like drama baiting, right? Like intentionally doing it for your own, like it's not a you and I joke, right? Where you're like in on it afterwards. Right. It's actually like, no, you are personally in, like, it's for you, but not for the other parties, right? And I think a lot of times, it doesn't matter if it's just PD. It's like, for a lot of things, I think, is it'll get mixed in with, like, serious shit, right?
Yeah.
So, it's like, okay, is it SBS? Is it serious? Like, we're talking about, like, you know, hag charges, and we put the photo up, you know, and there's a photo of your fucking ass that the entire DOJ just saw. You know, that kind of shit. You know?
I think some people do it intentionally and then play innocent.
Yeah, they pre-cry.
A lot of people do that. And why? To make them look better than you? Like, fucking grow up. I just don't have time for that to give a fuck. Like, I graduated high school a minute ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am done. I don't
think
care.
It's that. I don't think it's necessarily that malicious necessarily. I think it's insecurities and defensive mechanisms.
Yes.
Or funny, trying to be funny, and then because there's not enough like like enough what's the word, like understanding of what's happening, right? Like there's enough critical thinking happening to realize the consequence of it, and that when you get caught out, it's like, oh my god, you know, no, it's just for the lulz, haha. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why are you mad? Why are you mad? There's
also the ones who are good at playing dumb like that, Nino, and I could see through bullshit.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I speak bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see bullshit. Yes, I'll be honest. When I get that vibe from somebody, I distance myself. I'll deal with you when I need to, but I'm not talking to you about shit.
See, I haven't experienced. I mean, I'm not in the PD. You know what I mean? But damn. Okay.
And listen, I can get along with anybody, anywhere, unless Peters is in the car because they fucking him or Denzel. But anybody, anywhere, any block, any hood, whatever, right? I get conversations from people. People don't disrespect me. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I get the attitudes and I give it back, and then we're just like, okay, cool. But whenever I come across somebody that is like that and I feel it's intentional, usually I'm pretty right on, and I just immediately distance myself and limit the interactions on purpose. It's just like a thing. And my job is too important to me to focus on that. So it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind for me, right? But it doesn't hinder what I do every day. I go on scenes. I respond to everybody. I tell people what they need to do. It does, like, I don't pussyfoot. I still do what I gotta do, but I also just don't allow those people close to me at all.
That's smart. Yeah, that is smart. Yeah.
And then maybe they take it the wrong way, and I'm sorry, but I'm protecting myself.
Starring is when people are willing participants.
Hey, Shelly.
Listen, I think stirring's fun,
It is, but that's actual stirring.
but there's like the toxic shit that I don't care for.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Listen, I used to call Den the big spoon because that's literally all he fucking did was stir.
He did, but you knew it was obvious what he was doing.
I know. That's why I told him he was the big. While I was riding with the fucking spoon all day.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Anyways. All right. Well, I got to go work on documents and shit.
Gross.
Yeah. Well, that's my life. All right. It was a good chat.
Hey, Mike. What's up?
Later, Nino.
All right. Yeah. No one's getting replaced in high command.
Okay.
It's a big Jenga tower. And if I were to pull out a piece and move it around, you know, the entire thing, you know, if I pick tell me I'm wrong. If I pick another chief, it would be 2 months of them of all the people that had problems with all the people that are affected, all of a sudden they'd become best friends and they'd go into trauma, like
Yes.
they get together in the vehicles and they'd trauma like bond.
I already witnessed it once.
Yeah.
Please don't do it again.
Yep. And be like, oh my God,
No,
I
you're
can't
right.
believe they got rid of you. Oh my God. Why would they? You were one of the best. Like, oh my God. Or like, oh my God, you're now affected. Like, wait, you don't want to be an LSPD now because like, you know, this
Oh
and
my
this has
God.
changed. Oh my God. Wait, come up to Blaine County, you know, or like, man, you know, like, no. I'm not gonna, I've already seen what Peters and Moss had to go through, you know, the amount of just straight words I'm not gonna say, like, you know, and this is the better approach, you know, keep iterating, you know, so anyways.
Well, I mean, I don't have a, I don't. No, I support whatever you do.
Yeah,
So,
I appreciate it.
I'm here.
All right, see you soon, Chief. See, that was a star.
Go fuck yourself, Nino.